Welcome to this week's edition of the Dakota Angler 2-Minute Fishing Report. Well, this past week we've had plenty of weather that really offered us some ideal ice-making conditions out there. And a lot of people have found that a surprise. But there's plenty of smaller lakes and sloughs that have already froze over, and many of them already have what I would consider safe fishable ice. Now, a lot of the bigger lakes are still open and are just recently froze over, or some of them are even being kept open by waterfall. So you need to keep that in mind. And then also with this warmer snap that we're experiencing today as well as tomorrow, hopefully that we'll get cold enough at night that will preserve the ice and that we're not going to lose too much. But the good thing is we have another cold snap coming in later on this weekend and into next week. But even with that, the good thing is no snow. I know a lot of you would like to have the moisture, but as far as ice making is concerned, this is ideal. We have the colder weather as well as keeping the snow away and keep that snow off the ice. And it doesn't look like over the next 7 to 10 days we'll see anything substantial as far as snow is concerned around the tri-state area. Now, as far as the fishing report is concerned, again, the number of people that went out is fairly limited. There was quite a few people out on Whitewood this past weekend because that seemed like it had one of the best bites and also had some of the safer ice out there. But other lakes up in the northeastern part of the state that produce walleyes that we heard of anyway included Drywood, Dry Lake by Clark, Long, Rush, Midland, Fish, as well as Goose, a few being caught there. And then other lakes down the southeastern part of the state included 81 Ponds, as I mentioned, Whitewood, Schaefer Slough, and Henry. Now, what are people doing? A lot of dead sticking and a lot of people using tip-ups or even automatic hook set tip-ups like the Predator from Clam or the iFish Pro. All those have been working well because, again, I think with the limited ice thickness out there that any movement on the ice, it was really spooking the fish. So, again, keep that in mind. As the ice thickness gets a little bit better, I think you'll see those presentations change quite a bit. But, again, a lot of dead sticking and a lot of tip-up using as far as being successful out on the ice this past week. In this week's edition of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to again talk about ice safety because when it comes to ice fishing, folks, there's nothing more important than the safety of yourself and those that are around you at that point in time. So let's talk about or highlight some of the things that you're going to need to remember this ice season. One of the first things, and you need to have this all the time, don't leave home without it, and that's your common sense. Your common sense is going to keep you out of trouble. There's no fish worth risking your life over whatsoever. So again, common sense is very, very critical. The second thing is a tow rope or a throw rope, something that you can throw out to a person if they do fall in, that you can pull them out of that hole at that time. Third thing, you need to have basically a pair of ice picks around your neck. If someone does fall in, that they have those picks to keep hold themselves up on the ice or to pull themselves up out of trouble. Another thing, a spud bar. A spud bar is a fairly inexpensive piece of equipment that you can use to test the ice out ahead of you as you go. And the nice thing about that spud bar, it will also mark your trail. So don't pull your equipment out with you as you're testing that thickness. Test the ice thickness first and then go back and get your equipment. And the nice thing is, like I said, it marks that trail so you can follow the trail out and also follow it back when you're heading home for the night. The other thing, flotation suits. They're not that long ago they first came out, but it's one of the probably the most vital pieces of safety equipment that we sell here at the store. And flotation suits right now are on sale, so make sure you stop on by here at the store. But if you don't have a flotation suit, at least have some type of life jacket on there, some type of flotation device to keep you afloat if you do fall through the ice, and hopefully that never happens. Also, things to also keep in mind, don't go by yourself. All too often, people go by themselves and then they get in trouble. And remember, only you at that point in time are going to be able to get yourself out of trouble. The other thing to remember is don't go out at night, and especially early ice. A lot of times people like going out at night, especially fishing for walleyes. But the thing is that if you do go out at any time during the day, you need to remember to stay away from those troubled spots like culverts or areas that have a current or areas that are known not to necessarily freeze the best. In between Schaefer Slough and Thompson is a good example of that. Also, you need to know where you're going. Follow your GPS. All of you have a smartphone. Make sure you utilize that to mark the trail as you're going out so that if you do come off the lake after sunset, you know where you're going, that you're not going to walk into a troubled spot. So all these things are very important, and we want to make sure that all of you know it because we want to make sure that you are safe, that we see you the next week when you come in for bait or come in for some type of piece of fishing equipment. So again, use your common sense, be safe, but still at the same time, have fun. Well, this is normally the time where I would share a few photos that were sent in to me this past week, but since we're in between seasons, we don't have any photos to share. But keep it in mind, folks, for this upcoming ice season, that if you'd like to send a photo of your catch into us to share with everyone else, and there's no harm in bragging whatsoever, please send it to us. Send it to Todd at DakotaAngler.com or post it to our Facebook wall. And before we end this week's report, I want to remind you that, folks, a lot of people have called us the ice fishing headquarters of the tri-state area because when you walk into the store, you're not going to find a store that is more packed, gill to gill, so to speak, no pun intended, with ice fishing equipment. You need to stop on by and take a look if you haven't done so already, or check us out on the web because all our inventory that's here in the store is on our website at DakotaAngler.com. But again, if we don't have it, honestly, you're probably not going to need it because, again, we have so much inventory on hand, and a lot of it is on sale already. So make sure you stop on by because we have some really great deals. And if you can't make it, feel free to give us a call at 605-336-9132. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on! We'll see you next week. And again, thanks for watching. Stay healthy, and folks, as always, stay safe.